Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be discussing about glycolysis. If this is the first time you are joining my channel, kindly click on the subscription button and turn on the notification bell for future exciting content. So, introduction. Glycolysis is the metabolic pathway by which glucose is converted into pyruvate, and this is accompanied by the generation of ATP, which is the adenosine triphosphate, and ATP is the energy currency of the body. It is the central pathway of carbohydrate metabolism and it occurs in the cytosol of cells. In aerobic organisms, glycolysis serves as a preparatory pathway for the citric acid cycle and the electron transport chain, where most of the energy stored in glucose is ultimately released. Under aerobic conditions, pyruvate produced by glycolysis enters the mitochondria and is completely oxidized to carbon dioxide and water. When oxygen availability is limited, that is in a situation that we call hypoxia, such as during intense muscle contraction, pyruvate is reduced to lactate. In some aerobic organisms, or rather in some anaerobic organisms, pyruvate is instead converted into ethanol. The conversion of glucose to lactate or ethanol represents fermentation, which allows glycolysis to continue in the absence of oxygen. Glycolysis is also known as the Embden-Meyerhof pathway, named after Gustav Embden and Otto Meyerhof, who made major contributions to the elucidation of glycolysis in 1940. So now let's look at the glycolytic pathway role and significance. The glycolytic pathway has a dual role. One, it produces energy. That is to say, it is an energy producing process. In that process, it degrades glucose molecule to generate ATP. The second role of glycolysis is to provide biosynthetic support. That is provision of metabolic intermediates for synthetic reactions. The rate at which glucose is converted into pyruvate is tightly regulated to balance these cellular needs. Glycolysis occurs with some variations in nearly all organisms, indicating that it is one of the most ancient metabolic pathways. Now let's look at the stages of glycolytic pathway. Glycolysis can be divided into three main stages, each characterized by specific reactions and functions. Stage 1 of glycolysis involves the conversion of glucose to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. This stage consists of three steps involving phosphorylation, isomerization, and a second phosphorylation. It is often referred to as the energy investment phase as ATP is consumed. Now, this stage has the following steps. Step 1, which is the phosphorylation of glucose. In this step, glucose is phosphorylated by ATP to form glucose 6-phosphate. And this reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme that is called hexokinase. And hexokinase is a kinase enzyme. It is an enzyme that transfers a phosphoryl group from ATP to an acceptor molecule. In step 2 of the stage 1 of glycolysis involves isomerization of glucose 6-phosphate. Here, glucose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 6-phosphate. This reaction is catalyzed by an enzyme called phosphoglucose isomerase. This reaction converts an aldose sugar into a ketose sugar, preparing the molecule for further phosphorylation. Step 3, which involves second phosphorylation. Here, fructose 6-phosphate is phosphorylated by ATP to form fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, and the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is called phosphofructokinase. So phosphofructokinase is an allosteric enzyme and represent a key regulatory step in glycolysis. The rate of glycolysis is critically dependent on the activity of this enzyme, which is regulated by ATP and other metabolites. Now let's look at the second stage of the glycolysis. Quick reminder, don't forget to click on the subscription button and turn on notification bell for future content. Now the second stage involves cleavage and energy generation, and in this stage it includes 4 steps and it marks the transition from a 6-carbon compound to 3 carbon intermediates. Now, for easy understanding, we are going to continue with the numbering of the steps as we started. So in this, we are going to continue as step number 4. So step 4 involves the cleavage of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. So here, fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is splitted into 2 molecules of triose phosphates. And these triose phosphates are 3 carbon sugar molecules that have phosphate groups. And we have glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. So the splitting of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate gives us glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. And the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is called aldolase. The 2 products are isomers, that is to say dihydroxyacetone phosphate is a ketose, whereas glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is an aldose. Step 5, it involves isomerization of triose phosphates. Here, dihydroxyacetone phosphate is rapidly converted into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is called triose phosphate isomerase. As a result of this reaction, 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate are formed from each molecule of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Step 6 involves the oxidation and phosphorylation of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Here, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is converted into 1,3-diphosphoglycerate, and the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is called glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. This step involves oxidation and it leads to the formation of NADH, which is an important reducing equivalent. Step 7 involves what we call the substrate level phosphorylation. Here, 1,3-diphosphoglycerate is converted to 3-phosphoglycerate with the generation of ATP, and the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is called phosphoglycerate kinase. This is the first ATP generating steps of glycolysis. Now, the final stage, which is the stage 3 of glycolysis, involves the formation of pyruvate. This stage consists of 3 steps, and it results in the formation of pyruvate along with additional ATP molecule. So step 8 involves rearrangement of phosphoglycerate to 2-phosphoglycerate. Here we have 3-phosphoglycerate being converted to 2-phosphoglycerate, and the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is called phosphoglycerate mutase. Step 9 of the reaction involves dehydration reaction. Here 2-phosphoglycerate is converted to phosphoenol pyruvate with the release of water molecule, and the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is called enolase. The final step of the glycolysis, which is step 10, involves the formation of pyruvate. Here, phosphoenol pyruvate is converted into pyruvate and generate ATP, and the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is called pyruvate kinase. So this step represents another substrate level phosphorylation, and it is a key regulatory point in glycolysis. So let's quickly look at the net reaction of glycolysis. So the overall reaction for the conversion of one molecule of glucose into pyruvate involves glucose being the molecule that enter glycolysis. So the reaction will be glucose plus 2 inorganic phosphate plus 2 ADP plus 2 NAD plus to give us 2 molecules of pyruvate plus 2 molecules of ATP plus 2 molecules of NADH plus 2 molecules of hydrogen ions plus 2 molecules of water. So now the take-home message in glycolysis is that glycolysis is a central, ancient, and highly regulated metabolic pathway that converts glucose into pyruvate, producing ATP and NADH while supplying intermediates for other metabolic processes. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you find this content useful, and turn on the notification bell for future content. Thank you until we meet next.